To be honest, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. To wait 24 days to watch your team play, just to watch them play like that, bruh. That was one of the worst first halves of football I've ever seen in my life. To have a relegation side team beat us in every metric in that first half was just ridiculous. And I can't say it's completely unexpected, right? We know that this team takes a while to get into the flow of things after a long period off, right? People say, we play, once a week, that's going to be in our advantage, but to be honest, not really for this team. Because, first of all, when we have too much time off, right, we just take too long to get back in the groove of things, and that can be a disadvantage for this team. But at the same time, if we play too frequently, this team tires out because we don't have the depth in the squad, right? So this team in general just isn't that great or isn't good enough to really compete in any front. I mean, you can give them all the time in the world, all the rest in the world are just not good enough. Now, what was interesting to me is that I think as the game went on, we got better and better. Right now, I know just the narrative around the game. I know the opinions on the game. I know it's all overly negative, but I want to focus on the positives a little bit, right? In the sense that yes, it took us a lot longer to really cope with the pressure Leeds was giving us. I also don't think Michael Carrick got the tactics right, and you would expect some sort of change or some sort of change in the system, maybe a sub in the first half to change something, and we didn't see that, and they literally just ran through us, right? But as the second half came, I think the team really picked up some steam. I think the tactics were overly the same. I haven't really analyzed the tactics, but the tactics didn't change too much. It's just the players, first of all, their ability to get on the second balls, their aggression. I think everything just improved in the second half. Now, obviously, what did us in was that Lisandro Martinez red card. Now, I personally, and I'm not trying to make excuses for this team, but I personally believe that we were hard done by, right? When you look at that hair pull, I mean, we've seen so much worse in the Premier League not get called. We've seen so much worse where they've given a yellow card. Martinez has basically touched his ponytail. He wasn't looking at the player. He was looking at the ball. He just wanted something to grab onto. Unfortunately, he grabbed the ponytail. I don't think it was intentional. I think he meant to grab the shirt, and then he just grabbed whatever was available, and it just happened to be his ponytail. And he let go so quickly. I mean, when you look at what Calvert-Lewin was doing that whole game, and then you now see the call that they actually bring back just to review for Martinez's foul, for Martinez's red card, I think we've been hard done by, and I think that was extremely harsh. When you look at their first goal, now I'm not saying Leeds didn't deserve it. They deserved to go ahead 2 minutes in. I mean, we saw that chance that Senela Men saved for us, right? They deserve it, but at the same time, you cannot lunge onto a player with your elbow, right? Lenny Euro was jumping for the ball. You lunge and pretty much tackle him with your elbow, right? It glances off his head, lands perfectly for your player, and then they put it in the back of the net. That's a foul. That's obstruction of play. Calvert-Lewin had no intention to go for the ball, yet he disrupted play with his arm straight to the head of Lenny Euro, and that didn't get called back. I think part of that is because I don't know if Lenny Euro stayed down long enough. I don't know if he acted as though he was hurt. I think if he did, there's a good chance they would have called that back. Do I think they would have overturned it? I don't know, just based on how calls are going against us in this season. I mean, if you look at the Bournemouth game, two games in a row, I think we were hard done by. Ahmad got pushed in the penalty area. It's clear foul. They didn't call it. They went ahead and scored. Maguire also got a red, and in this game as well, we got a pretty light red. I think the refereeing quality in the Premier League is honestly trash. When you watch the Champions League and when you watch the refereeing in the Champions League, you could just see the difference. You could just see, and even though sometimes it's the same refs, I don't know what it is, but you could just see the difference. Maybe there's just, I know it's the Champions League, but maybe there's just less pressure. Maybe it just feels more official, more important. Maybe that they want to make sure to get everything right. It's just they have such smooth games in the Champions League versus the Premier League. There's always something to talk about, and there's so many clubs that can make cases for being hard done by reffing. So that's why, and by VAR. So that's why I don't want to make a case for you. I don't want to make a case too hard for United, but when you look at something like that, I mean, the max you should give him is a yellow. The maximum you should give him is a yellow. There's no rule in the letter of the law that says you must give any hair pull a red card. There's no rule that says that. Have I done my research? A little bit of research. So if you find something that says it, please let me know. I've done a little bit of research. I couldn't find anything. There's no rule that says that a strict pulling of the hair or strict, misconduct of that sort is a straight red, right? So I'm extremely disappointed. And we've seen examples and examples. And I mean, even if it is, then sure, it is. It's whatever. But when you get so much inconsistency in the Premier League to the point where you have other players pulling much harder, much more aggressive on opposition players' hair, and they get a yellow, it's just come on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just the inconsistency in the Premier League is we've seen inconsistency even in the same game with our last game against Bournemouth. The inconsistency is just truly annoying. Now, enough making excuses for this team, because that was honestly a trash performance. And although despite having the red card, despite playing that bad in the first half, I do think we played extremely well in the second half. I don't think it was just a case of Leeds just letting us play with the ball trying to defend their lead. I think we did genuinely play better and we created so much more chances. And I think that's due to the team's fight being much better, their ability to get on the second balls being much better, and also just them just wanting it, their aggression. Everything was better in the second half. And honestly, if we played like that, if we played like that in the first half with having 11 men, I think it would have been a different game. But that being said, I mean, look, I can't make excuses for this team, because that performance, despite me seeing some glimmer of hope in the second half, it just wasn't good enough. You should never have been in that position in the first place. I mean, you have 24 days off. I understand you want to get back into it. I understand there's no amount of training you can do to really, really get back into it. Because even if you do a mock game, for example, it's just not the Premier League. It's completely different. So there's no amount of training. You just have to play your game, and you just have to make sure you don't concede. And throughout the game, you get back into it. That's truly how I feel about it, right? So I get it. But to allow Leeds to have so much dominance the way they did, I mean, we couldn't play off the back. They pressed us. They pressed us so hard. We were powerless. We were straight up powerless, and it's just disappointing watching that game. You had all of us wait 24 days, damn near a month, because of your incompetencies and because of your inability to stay in any competition this season. You had us wait 24 days just to play like that. It's embarrassing. Now, with Michael Carrick, I do see some issues. I am still Michael Carrick in. However, when you look at his inability to change things up, especially in that first half, it is a little bit concerning. You would expect, some sort of change in tactic, or maybe him being able to notice his flaws in his tactic and maybe change something else or try something. I think it's a little disappointing. I think there is a time and a place to keep something the same, and I think he does that well. However, I think in that game, you definitely should have changed it. And I don't know what he said to them in the second half to make them come out like that. However, that first half, you can't be starting games like that. Now, yes, I am still Michael Carrick in. However, it does depend on the response in the next game. So our next game, we play Chelsea, and it really just depends on how we play on that game, right? I think if we start, we've been seeing signs for the past, I'd say like 5, 6, 7 games. We've seen signs of this team just not being up or not playing at their best. There's been, even though we have been winning, there has been moments where you're just not fully convinced, right? And I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know if that's due to the fact that we just don't have good enough players. I don't know if that's due to Michael Carrick, maybe a little bit of both. However, we have been getting results, and that is the main thing. And our style of play has been good for the most part. We are entertaining to watch as well. So there is some of that as well. But it'll be interesting to see Michael Carrick just adapt to the Premier League, right? If you want to be big in the Premier League, want to be successful in the Premier League, these coaches are the best in the world, and they're going to find your tactics out. You are not allowed to use the exact same tactic throughout the whole Premier League season unless you have absolute diamonds of players of players that can actually carry out those tactics consistently, while opposition have no choice but to try and counter that, right, and not being able to, right. So I need to see some sort of adaptation. I need to see some sort of growth for Michael Carrick, and I think our response in the next game against Chelsea is the main thing. I think if we don't play well against Chelsea, if we don't win against Chelsea, I'm gonna have some serious issues about Michael Carrick being in, and I think we'll need to truly assess our options. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to hit 200 subscribers next, so I hope we can do it. That would help a lot. But that's all from me.